Love, but time to battle, I'll find them all. I felt the whips and remember chains, but my sword has been forged by my father's flames. Fight your fears and heal your pain, and victory will be in your name.
I used to be weak, but I'm not weak no more. I found the strength of my ancestors deep down in my African core. I used to be frightened, I'm not afraid no more. The Father blessed me with the heart of a lion and a warrior soul. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer, oh I will conquer, yes I will conquer them. Come on, let's conquer, oh I will conquer, rise up and conquer them. Tell them no retreat, no surrender. I shall fight till the end of days. I was born as a Makai warrior, and the Almighty God my blade. Fire burn all Satan carrier. Father loose all shackles and chain. This morning first thing as I wake up, King David turn some to the brain. Don't let your courage go down, keep it up. And if your heart rip up and stitch it up, don't let your faith them fall, pick it up. When my cup was empty, God fill it up. Don't take the devil contract, rip it up. And if your bad mind people to go meet it up, pass me the Congo drum and let me beat it up. God on my side, me no give it up. So no weapon that form against I shall not prevail. And no man that rise against I, that war they shall never win. 'Cause I will conquer. No, I will.
You are everything, Father. Thank you. Father, you alone shall guide me. No man shall lead my path. In the wind I hear your quiet whispers, and you heal my broken heart. Even some of my friends turn enemies, and they pray for right to feel. And remember you gave us your only begotten son, but we gave him the wound of lies. Send down your warriors with the hello. They carry down to the end of days. No matter how the devil try trick me, unto you my soul I will give. Father, I know this time is coming. I can see the high tide.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Grenada Carriacou and PT Martinique. Sorry, there we had a little technical difficulty. You know how it happens sometimes. All right. A special good morning to those of you joining us on the various radio stations: 97.5 CitysoundFM, 89.5 CRFM, 91.9 and 91.5 RealFM radio, 92.9. And that's in Carriacou, Hillsborough, and 94.9 We Noise Radio out there in Brooklyn, New York. Of course, a very special good morning to those of you joining us on the live video stream. I know that there are some of you joining us on YouTube, but I'm not sure what's happening with the Facebook Live. You know, Facebook does be on the fritz and do its own thing sometimes, so we apologize for that. Guys, it is a rainy morning. I can't say beautiful because I don't really like the rain unless I am at home under all of my covers and enjoying the weather. So I can't say it's a beautiful morning for me, but for somebody out there, I'm quite sure that you are enjoying the rain and it's a beautiful morning for you. Good morning, Mr. Bola.
Good morning, Miss Duncan. Good morning to all our listeners. It is always wonderful when the Lord will send his rain to nourish the earth, to allow us to be able to populate food so that our people will grow and we can harvest and our people can eat good fresh vegetables and fruits and all the other wonderful things that the rain does, washes away whatever bits of refused, I don't want to call it, say, garbage per se, but sometimes there are some little remains in our gutters and our drains. For those who are in areas that has been extremely dry, they may have been able to collect some water overnight into the morning. I hope they had the containers and everything well washed and prepared and had it out. I'm hoping and praying that God will send some rain. Well, He did. The Master is one great King that knows and sees and understands all the struggles that we are going through.
Absolutely.
That's it.
But while we are here enjoying the rain, my heart goes out to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who currently are struggling with the heavy rainfall.
Well, it is my understanding that as a result of some of the volcanic eruption that they had, and depending on which side or which zone, as they put it, they had the red, the yellow, and orange zone. And so I think the closer you are to the danger, your line will be much, much brighter. So those in the red zone, probably the orange. And so based on the level of ash that they had accumulating as a result of the eruptions, it is a sad moment for them. My understanding from little videos we saw this morning is that they too are getting heavy downpours, and a lot of the drains are blocked. The water that from the rain, from the precipitation, seem to be going and making its own way because, water is a force of nature that you can't stop, really. It goes on wherever it wants to. We've also learned unconfirmed. We're hoping to get confirmation of that maybe the one or two houses were moved as a result of heavy flows and rivers overflowing the banks and areas where they normally would not have a lot of water passing through due to floods, and that again is being caused by blocked drains and streams, and so water being diverted to other areas where it would not normally be passing, that a house or two may have been shifted, moved with occupants in them. That is unconfirmed so far. We've just seen a video and someone commenting, and we have always warned people, and we need to take the warning ourselves. We still have people trying to ascertain the facts for us, trying to reach out. We have members at the staff office trying to make contact with whoever they can in St. Vincent to see if they can get some confirmation. So again, I want to repeat, it is unconfirmed. We saw a video, we saw a comment from someone claiming to be in St. Vincent saying that a couple of houses with occupants are in it. We've seen a report coming from some of the people, regional people, one a Grenadian who is associated with the security services, saying that they're moving now from a position of just trying to secure to a search and rescue as a result of the heavy rain. So we are not in a position at this time to ascertain how serious the issue is, what kind of damages are being meted out as a result. But we do know that it is raining heavily. There's a lot of water flowing in areas where normally it would not. And it has resulted from a lot of streams and drains and other water areas, water passage areas being blocked from the accumulation of ash as a result of the volcanic eruption. And so, as was mentioned by Ms. Duncan, our heart goes out to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We all need to continue to pray for them, but also to pray for ourselves, because, we can pray for people who we think are in our situation than ourselves, but we need to pray and ask God to continue to protect us and save us from the wrath of Mother Nature. We have not always been very kind to her, but be merciful upon us a lot. So St. Vincent, we don't know. Like I said, we don't know the extent of what is happening. We don't know if it is a fake news that came out on the platforms. But we're just reporting it to you. So if you have contacts or you have information to the contrary, if you have relatives or people that you're talking to in St. Vincent, and you can let us know what the situation may be out there at this moment. We have no official report, no official comment, but just surfing through the platforms that are available. We've seen that one report talking about the flooding to some extent in some areas and the washing away of about 2 houses that had occupants in them. So let's hope it is nothing too serious. There would be no loss of lives, we hope and pray. And that, God will be as merciful as he normally is to ensure that with the heavy downpours, it does not cause or create too much more problems for them in St. Vincent.
And on top of that, they would have also recorded their 11th death from COVID, and also recorded some new cases of the virus among the population in the past 24 hours. So they really are going through quite a bit in St. Vincent, and we would want to send all of our prayers, all the prayers that we can send to them in this it's a very difficult time,
Well, I don't know if you want to send prayers to them. You want to send goods and things
too,
that they can use,
also.
and you want to pray for them, but you should be sending the prayers to the Almighty, Omnipotent. Yeah. I don't know that the people of St. Vincent want us to send them prayers. They would want us to pray on their behalf, to intercede with the Master, asking him to stretch out his mighty hands and to protect them and to save them and to help them, and to elevate them from the trials and tribulations that they are going through at this moment. Right. What they would want us to send is foodstuff, especially tin and non-perishable items and water, and so that they can continue to sustain themselves. Yes? So those of us who have not yet made contribution, or even if we did, and we can make additional contribution, we should continue. We should do it knowing that we are doing something for a brother or a sister. As the Master have said, whatsoever you do for the least of your brothers, that you do unto me. So we love God, we serve God, we believe in God, and we know he is merciful, he is good. Let us continue to do what he will appreciate of us doing. So St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we continue to pray for you.
Well, Mr. Bola, we've just come off of the heels of a very interesting interview, special interview with our Prime Minister, Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell. He did answer a lot of questions. He did speak to a lot of issues and so on. I want to ask you, what is your take on it, and I will at some point. But more importantly, Mr. Bola, I have a very big concern. I monitored a lot of the live videos and so on, just to get a feel or an idea of what some people were saying, and it's absolutely clear to me that there are just some people out there who are not interested in listening to reason. They don't care. They don't want to hear. All they have is one thought, and they want to run with that one thought. And it's rather unfortunate, because at the end of the day, in everything that is happening, especially with the industrial actions, the adults are the ones making the noise, but the children are the ones suffering.
Well, that is absolutely obvious.
Yeah.
I did, like you, and I guess hundreds of other Grenadians, listen to that special interview. I also want to place on record that I think it started sometime in the beginning of the year, and it's a good initiative. Yeah, I hope that it can continue, and as time goes by, that the various journalists would get the opportunity to sit one-on-one with the Prime Minister and be able to question him on certain issues. It is always good when people in leadership position, not just Prime Minister, it could be an ordinary or a regular, instead of using the word ordinary, a regular parliamentary representative. It could be the bishop, the priest. It could be, a community leader. It's important when you can report back to people, when you can answer questions that confront people in an official way. and people can get to understand your line of thinking at any particular time. And I think it is important now more than ever, more so because of the pandemic. We are going through a very tough time because of the economic woes that we are seeing. But in addition, as you mentioned, because of the industrial impasse with the public workers, so to speak, but mainly focused and being brought to higher attention by the teachers in particular over the 4% pay hike or increase, which is something we've spoken about time and time again here, that the government does have a contractual arrangement with the public workers union to ensure that they do a salary increase by 4% to public workers, and that should have taken effect in January, and that the government, from the drop in revenue collection as a result of the pandemic and the lockdown during certain periods in 2020 and the easement of certain restriction that was put in place, trying to bring some level of normalcy in terms of economic activities back, although still restricted in some ways, is finding it difficult to allocate the necessary funds from the reduction in collection of revenue that they have had to make sure that they can implement now that 4% salary increase. So they have been in negotiation with the unions, Public Workers Union, TAU, and of course the Teachers Union. However, what we have seen over a period of time is that the unions are not happy, one, but more importantly, they are not prepared to accept government's explanation. And even though up to, I think, last Friday, there was some sort of engagement between the government negotiating team and in particular the teachers union, where the Ministry of Finance was involved in making a presentation and trying to explain and show the level of collection and the drop that they have had, and the fact that government has overspent some 0.3 of a million, 300,000 maybe, that should be more than what they collected. The union, meaning now the teachers union, and I presume some members of the other unions, the hierarchy of the union, plus some teachers, are hell-bent on saying that government should find the money, that there are ways that government can find the money. They have not explained how. They keep making the claim that, look, St. Vincent is going through its bad zone now, but government had make a commitment and is planning or have already found $1 million to assist them. Again, as we say, this is a one-off. This is you on your knees, but your brother neighboring you is on his bottom. Yes, so Grenada is on its knees. It's hard. It's trying to rise from the ash, but your neighbor St. Vincent is covered in ash. So at least you can still stretch a helping hand to them. Particularly to the actions taken. It's a little bit mind-boggling. It's puzzling because you speak to some teachers and they tell you that the children are their pride and joy, that their love and commitment for teaching goes beyond anything else. But yet still you find that many of them have left their classes unattended to, have called in sick out, have gone on march, and the children was left to fend on their own and so. And we need to qualify that by saying it is not every teacher or every public servant, but there's a minority, there's a small group. That's the leadership of the union and, a couple hundred teachers and some public servants added to them that is seriously not looking at this issue and considering this matter in a very sane way, the perspective they have on it is just that find it, government, wherever, however, by whatever means, and give it to us if you want us to stop our protest. And I believe that the government sincerely wants to pay, is willing to pay, and I believe the government will pay. In my mind, there is no doubt. I'm not a member of the present administration. I'm a supporter of the party, and by virtue of that, a supporter of the government. And most people may think, well, you are one of them, so you take the side. It's not about side now. It's about people using the intellect and looking at the situation. I mean, just late last week, or late the week before, into last week, a statement came out from the government of Belize stating that they would be moving forward to implement a 10% salary cut across the board for public servants, which include teachers, which include police officers, and other public sector workers. Because of the situation, because again, they, like other countries in the region, are seeing less revenue intake as a result of COVID, where a lot of productive sectors of the economy cannot yet be opened up because the COVID-19 virus is still very prevalent. And while you would want to preserve livelihoods and get people back on the job and have things moving again and government being able to collect, you have to be cognizant that you must protect lives and you have to take the necessary precautions. And you don't want to overcompensate in one area and as a result cause another area to fall into trouble. Yes, we've heard from the trade unions in St. Lucia saying to the government of St. Lucia that, look, you were meant to implement a 1% salary increase for 2020-2021. But we are saying to you to forego that for now. And we are speaking on behalf of our workers because we recognize what the pandemic is doing. We recognize the state our country is in. We recognize the fact that while some of our people are still employed, some of the people we represent, like the teachers in Grenada, like the public servants in Grenada, and can still receive a salary less than the increase that they were supposed to get in January, but they are making something at the end of the month to survive. And while we accept and understand that, we also know that there are thousands of people from since last year, from March with the lockdown, who have been out of a bread. They have no way of making any income. They have no way of ensuring that they can put food on the table for the children. And so sometimes, like I say, we have to look at the picture in a broader way. We have to think about our brothers and sisters. We cannot be so selfish. We cannot be so myopic in our views to see only beyond the tip of our nose. But let's take a wider zoom of what is happening. Let's understand. And while you must constantly and encourage you to constantly be saying to government, make more efforts. Be on the tail. Don't allow them to fall asleep and forget that you need to get your 4%. But be understanding. So when you seek out and you stay home and you don't turn up to school, I mean, the merge of problems that you can create as a result. And the Minister of Education was talking about, why don't you inform the children that you're not coming? So the parents can make alternative arrangements. The parents can save the couple of very scarce dollars that they have, that they pay the bus and prepare lunch, that you're not going to come. And what is the reason you didn't go?
Well, they're saying that if they inform the parents, it would defeat the purpose. Now, I have a very big problem with that, Mr. Bola, because as industrial action, right, whether you stay home and you say you're calling a sick out and you stay home and you inform the parents, it doesn't change the fact that it is an industrial action. However, what is happening with this particular type of industrial action? It is using the children directly to impact what they are trying to do. And then you say to people, oh, well, we're not trying to use the children. But you are deliberately not informing parents. Now listen to how bad this thing is. I have spoken to parents, Mr. Bola, and they have indicated that there are instances, or in this particular instance, they give their child money to buy lunch in school. That did not happen because the teachers did not show up, right? So there was no school feeding program. There are some parents who had to say to their children, listen, go home, close the door, lock it. I can see you at 4 o'clock or see you at whatever time it is I get home. There are some parents who did not even know that their children left school. The children just took the bus as normal and went home, as they would have done if school was over at 2:30. Now, Mr. Bola, this thing can be so bad, and I want people to understand this. This has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that teachers are all out for the children right through the year, and they decide to take one day, because you hear people saying these things, that, oh, the one time that the teachers decide to do this, now people are concerned about. Let me tell all you something, Mr. Bola. When you see as a mother, you are doing absolutely everything possible to protect your child, and somebody, even if it's for one day, puts your child in unnecessary danger, you have to respect that that person is upset. You have to, as an individual, respect that that person will be upset. Now, it only takes a second for a child to become endangered. So whether you feel like it's the teachers only did it for one day, or they just take one day off and all they're behaving as if they always doing that, or they're behaving as if that one day is going to affect the child. Yes, Mr. Bola, it could take that one day to affect my child. I do not want to be placed in that position as a parent. And I am speaking as a parent at this particular time. I do not want to be ever placed in that position. I heard the Prime Minister speak this morning about a grandfather that usually goes to the school in the afternoon to pick up his grandchild. That man must have dropped his grandchild to school, did all his little wrongs in tongue and what he was supposed to do, and go back to pick up his grandchild to find nobody there, to find that child sitting on the veranda. Mr. Bola, there are a multiplicity of things that could have gone wrong in that situation. As a mother, I never want to be placed in that kind of position, to have to even think about that. So yes, if you're staying home and you're sick, is you're right, but tell me so I can keep my child home. And that is how I feel as a parent. So you cannot be out there telling parents that they should not get upset because their children were put in an uncomfortable, compromising position. So to all of the people on social media that are saying that, I say shame on them. Because how can you tell a mother how to feel when for 365 days of the year, that mother is trying hard, working hard to ensure that she meets the needs of her children, to ensure that she sends her child to school, to ensure that her child is cared for, to keep her hands out of all of those nasty pedophiles that have out there. And then yet for all, that one day, that one situation where people decide to behave selfishly, put that child in danger, and you don't want the parent to be upset?
Well, passionate it is though. Passionate you are.
But nobody, Mr. Bola, nobody can come and reason to me to make me understand why this action was necessary. You know what I want to say to the teachers? I want to say to all of the teachers who stayed home.
Which action was necessary? Staying home?
And not informing the parents.
So the action of not informing.
That is what I'm upset with. Stay
is
home, fine. No problem. You want to sick out? You want to call the school and say, I'm not coming to school today because I am sick? You plan to have your sick out or whatever? Mr. Bola, between 8 and the part that is upsetting is don't send the children home until 12 o'clock. So you deliberately keep the children in the school without proper supervision until 12 o'clock to inform the parents. And I know because you're trying to tell me between 8 o'clock and 12 o'clock, or 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock, because 11 o'clock is when people started really finding out and pulling their children out of school. And when messages from teachers started going out saying that, oh, I'm not going to be in school today to come and collect your children. That is when it starts. So you're trying to tell me between 8 o'clock and 11 o'clock, my child was unattended in a school environment where any possible thing could have happened to them. And I must be, as a parent, okay with this. I must sit down and say, well, it's government fault that this happened, so I am okay with it. I am not okay with it, Mr. Bola. And as a mother, I have a right not to be okay with it. But what I do want to say to the teachers is this.
Well, I want you to qualify that and say some of the teachers.
Some of the teachers. Because
I do believe that there are a number of teachers who are not participating actively.
Actively.
They may be taking on, and it is their right. Like
it's their right, of course.
But they are not actively
taking part.
Taking
but
part.
Mr. Bola, what about the rights of my child to be protected, to be educated, to not be neglected? What about those rights? When did your rights become more important than my child's rights? When did that happen? Because the rights of a child is paramount to all other rights.
I can't say when one said.
But I want to say this, Mr. Bola, and I want to put this in the minds of not just the teachers, but all public servants. You know why they ain't asking all they to strike? Because they could strike. They could say, well, we ain't getting money, so keep all your children home, and we go stay home, and everybody go strike. But you know why the union cannot ask them to strike? Because they don't have no strike fund to pay them. And they know if they ask them to go and rest and reflect again, they go have to pay them, because you know you can't make your employer pay you when you don't work. So they're using all these little tactics. Had them wearing jersey, making them go and run and jump and march in the hot sun and the rain, making them take a sick day, and all of these things they're making them do when they know that the ultimate goal is, or the thing that they could do that would be more effective is to strike. They cannot make them strike because they do not have a strike fund.
Or how would the
pay
strike
them.
be more effective?
Well, that's what they feel. A lot of people believe that a strike is the most effective.
Because the government continuously been saying to the unions, the official representatives for the workers, the public workers, whether it's the teachers union or public workers union, that the issue here is not wanting to pay. The issue is not that of a lack of commitment. The issue is not whether you deserve it or not. The issue simply is we as government do not have it. We don't have the capability to do it at this time. But given time down the road, we certainly believe that the economy is going to start transforming. In fact, there are signs of transformation. Things are going to happen better. When the economy opens up more, a lot of the people who are dependent at this time and looking forward to government for some sort of handout or assistance to get by, they will become gainfully employed and be able to fend on their own. And that will put the government resources in better shape, in a stronger position. The economy will be yielding more, and then we'll be able to implement and maintain and sustain your increase.
Yep.
So I don't understand, even with a strike, what it is going to change. Nothing will change in terms of the payment until the government has the money to pay.
And you see, that is what is, for me, a person who understands the situation, that's what hurts me the most. The fact that I know it's not a situation where they will never get the money. I know it's not a situation where government is saying we are not willing to pay the money. I know that it is not a situation where government is able to pay the money. I know they cannot do it. And I know it's not a situation where the teachers and the leaders of some of the teachers and some of the leaders of the union don't understand that. It's BS spite, and my child must not be mixed up in that. And that's all I'm saying. My child must not be falling victim to this kind of thing. Because guess what? At the end of the day, no matter how much time you strike or how much time you stay home or how much time you march, if they don't have the money to pay you, they cannot pay. They have given multiple reasons as to why they are unable to meet it at the time. You have accepted those reasons. You have understood those reasons, but yet you still say we don't care, and using the children of the nation to fight your battle for you. I don't feel comfortable with that. My child is worth more to me, and I will keep saying it, more than 4%. Because at the end of the day, the damage that you are doing to my child is irreparable. Your 4% going to be sitting in your pocket, and my child continues to remain damaged from this situation. Who is going to fix that? That is my problem. When you receive your 4% at the end of the year or in the next 3 months or so on, you going back to teaching as normal, smiling, everything good, and my child remains damaged. I have a problem with that. I have a very big problem with that. And to the parents out there who are sitting there agreeing with this nonsense, I cannot see it. I cannot see how, as a parent, you feel comfortable with the teachers abandoning your children in school and actively asking that you are not informed before 12 o'clock. And you're comfortable with that? I can't see that.
But you're sure it is parents who are agreeing?
There are I've seen it on social media. Parents, one comment saying, I am a parent, but I'm in full solidarity with the teachers. How you could be in solidarity with that? How can you be in solidarity with something that is going to definitely affect your child? At the end of the day, when the teachers have their 4% in their pocket, because it is guaranteed that they will get it, the time frame in which they would get it within the year of 2021 is uncertain. But the guarantee that they will receive it is there. They will get their 4%. When their 4% sit down in their pocket, the damage that has been done to your child because they are now behind because the curriculum has not been met. They have been damaged because of whatever circumstance they were faced with when you decide to stay home, whatever bullying or so on they have been exposed to, whatever damage could have been done to my child because you allowed her to be in an environment where she was not safe and where she was not protected. That will still remain, and your 4% will be sitting in your pocket nice, and you're smiling. I will not be smiling. I will not be happy.
So that being said and understood, what do you think parents can now do? I think that's the question at hand. The government already said what it will do. The government already said that they will continue to meet with unions. The union bosses, especially the teachers union, keep saying, well, we don't care. Tell us whatever you want to tell us. Show us whatever you want to show us. All we want is our money. You know?
Mr. Bola, at some point...
But what would you advise parents?
At some point, as parents, as people, we need to learn to separate ourselves and our emotions from politics. We can't tie everything up together like that. And because you support a certain political organization, because you support a certain agenda, it doesn't even have to be a political organization, but a certain agenda. You may be in support of the teachers getting their 4%, but I would advise parents to first understand what the entire situation is, because there are a lot of people jumping up in solidarity and have absolutely no idea what is happening. They don't know. All they know is money involved, 4% involved, and the teachers want their money. That's all they know. They know nothing else. Understand what is happening. But furthermore, do not ever, as a parent, allow politics, solidarity, loyalty, and support of anything come before your children's well-being and safety. That must be first and foremost, paramount above everything else in any parent's life. Their child's well-being must be first. And therefore, you cannot under any circumstances support anything that will jeopardize something like that. And that is my advice to parents. Nobody is saying that you should not support the teachers in their fight for 4%. But it's not what you do. It is how it is done and who is damaged in the process. My child is not a scapegoat. I did not birth and raise my child for 12 years for nobody to damage my child emotionally in their fight for what they want. And when
so is it just your child or our nation's children?
Our nation's children. But I'm speaking as a mother because I have 2 children in school.
Yes, so I understand that.
God bless the teachers of the Seventh-day Adventist school who sat, and my child had school on Wednesday. He was great. But I had to pull my daughter out of school because, one, understanding her medical condition, but also that nobody was there to monitor her.
Right. I hear you. But I think the listeners wants to know.
It's the nation's children.
That
every single one of them. And everybody know I hold a very special place in my heart when it comes to children and then education. Children first, education of children after. Very special place in my heart. And anybody that want to vex that a business. But
your heart must be really big, yes, girl.
It's big, Mr. Bola.
Sure.
That is a business. That is okay. But it is not fair. It is very unfair, Mr. Bola, and I would say it and continue to say it. It is very unfair for these, for some of these and these union members to see it as okay to do these kind of things to people's children. It is not okay. I don't understand how they sat down very comfortably and came up with this plan to call a sick out, but not to inform the parents until 12 o'clock. How did they comfortably do that? And how is it that teachers who are also parents agreed to something like that.
But I don't know, and you don't know if some of the teachers who agreed to the sick out are parents, because it is not all the
That's why I
teachers
said
did.
some.
No, but I'm saying we don't know if those in the grouping that agreed to the sick out are even parents. They may well be those who have no children, or the younger ones who have not started their family yet. I don't know. I'm not saying maybe there was, but I'm saying up until now we don't know for a fact. But no one should be angry with the teachers. I don't want people to get angry with them. Disappointed, yes, because I am also very disappointed, because I feel we have gotten to the place where rationalism should take over, where there should be sane minds looking at this picture before us. What I tend to hear from a lot of them is a lot of aggression and spewing some hate, to say the least, because they speak as though someone is trying to spite them or spitefully withhold what is designated for them.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that that is the fact. I don't believe that government, in fact, the government and the sources within government that has responsibility for the negotiations have been saying consistently, it is not in the best interest of government not to pay.
Yeah.
I mean, for the sake of the children, for the sake of having smooth running school operations and so, but more importantly, from an economic standpoint, having to pay at some later date, plus paying a back pay for the many months that that it was not implemented, and looking forward to January of 2022 to have to implement another 4%, is all too much for government to have to take care of at one time in a very short space of time.
But Mr. Bola, let me just pause here for a moment. It's not even you don't believe, Government has said, the union has even said that they see it, that they know it, that this is what the situation is, that they were told that by the end of the year they would be paid, and they refuse. They say no.
Well, not just by the end of the year. The statement was on or before
the end of the year. We have a caller on the line, Mr. Bola. I just want to take this one call because time is running, and I want to give other people an opportunity to speak. Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Duncan.
Hi, good morning.
Mr. Bola.
Good morning, sir.
Just listening to this conversation for a few days now with this thing with the teachers, and it's a couple of things that concern me.
Yeah.
One is even this whole idea about sick out. I mean, I know it's used by the unions all the time, but I wonder if the teachers are aware of how many of God's commandments they break in, even by using a sick out.
Mm-hmm.
Because the fact that you sick out and you're not sick, you're actually telling a lie.
Right.
And these days, children are smart. Children know what's going on. If even they didn't hear it from the teachers, they're going to hear it at home. And it right away tells me that children know that their teachers don't always tell the truth. And that creates a problem there with the kind of trust children should have for teachers.
Yeah.
The other thing is that it shows that there's a lack of love. And one of God's greatest commandments is that we must love each other. Love your neighbor as you love yourself.
Yeah.
And that bothers me a lot. I think that, especially as teachers, and I understand the fact that they would want what they feel is due to them, but I feel that there's a bit of, as you say, there's a hardness there. There's something that must be just more than people just understanding the issue. And I'm just hoping there's not a lot of politics and all that, which I suppose it is part of that. But it's unfortunate. And we really need, for this nation, we really need to start taking a deep breath and thanking God for what we have. You look around the world and you see what's happening all around the world. Look at what's happening in India. You see pictures of people, nurses overwhelmed and trying to save people, and they're dying all around them.
Yeah.
We see what's happening just in St. Vincent, even in Barbados from the volcano. What has happened there in Barbados, I don't think they're fully recovered yet. So there are a lot of things that we have to be thankful for, and I can't understand why sometimes some people just try to make life as hard, as difficult as possible. instead of saying, let me try to be satisfied with the little that I have at the moment and try to see how we could help others so that they can get through this difficult time together.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to put in my 2 pence on that.
Well, I think that's more than 2 pence, you know. That's a big bill you paid there.
You mightn't be from the days when we used to have farthings.
Farthings, I heard about it.
Some people might say not even worth a farthing.
No. I think it was well said. We really appreciate you putting it the way you did, from the biblical perspective, and of course, again, what we do, how it affects our children, how we should lead by example. And thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Okay, pray for the situation.
We have to all do that.
Absolutely.
We have to all do that.
All right, thank you very much.
Welcome.
We have another call on the line, Mr. Bola. Let's take that one quickly as well. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Duncan and Brother Bowler.
How are you doing,
morning.
brother? Thank you. Good morning.
Yes, calling from the diaspora.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I want to congratulate the teachers who did not go along with the planned sick out.
Absolutely.
Sometimes they get lost in the discussion.
Yeah.
But a lot of the teachers, I'm congratulating them today for not going on the sick out.
Yes.
Even though they were asked to do it, to plan a sick out and hurt the children.
Yeah.
Secondly, as I close, somebody called me. And sometimes when I tell you I have facts, I have facts.
Yes.
And I got two messages to go before the Grenada Consulate in New York City, saying that the Prime Minister and the government are selling the airport.
We laugh, not from what you say, but just how laughable the whole situation is.
Very.
I have to laugh at them. They're going to demonstrate. One of them planning to come and run for election. He told me,
Yeah, that's good.
asked me if I could support him. So when I'm telling you, what I'm saying is facts. When Barracuda tells you that shark has harpoon in his back, Barracuda is talking the truth, because Barracuda is in the sea too. Have a blessed day.
You have a good one, and thank you so much for the way in which you expressed and put here.
Mr. Bola, one thing I wanted also make note of, because there are some people who are saying, oh, well, it's not about the 4%, it's about the principle. Are we fighting for other things that have been promised to us that we have not been given? So my question is, if that is the case, then tomorrow, if the 4% is paid, we still have a problem. We still on industrial action and thing. Because if it's about the principle, and if it's about the other things that we're advocating for, it means that when one thing is satisfied, you would continue to fight for the others in the same way.
Well, yes and no. The issue is, even if you have other things that you want to bring to the fore, let's ask ourselves, is that the best or the only way in which you must do it? I mean, let's go back to 2020. We have had, as a matter of fact, from 2019, we have had a lot of, days when there was no school, when the children miss out, for unfortunate reasons, for things that probably should have never been, over something that the government was trying to change for the benefit of public workers in terms of increasing what they would get at the end of the tenure. The Pension Disqualification Act came into existence long before this government ever came around, and government was trying to see how they can fix it. What you had was demonstration and lock off and rest and reflection. So the children had missed a lot. Then you had the lockdown and many days and months when there was absolutely no school during 2020. And here you come back to 2021 and you think the best way to express your disgust with anything whatsoever that government has done or didn't do is to suffer the poor little children. Again. Rather than saying, okay, well, look, as the bosses of the union, you go to the labor commissioner or you write your counterpart, your employer who is the government, and say, look, we need to sit around the table. There are a number of issues that we want to flag, and let's start this thing all over.
But Mr. Bola, what baffles me is the fact that has already happened. And they have identified that they understand. They have identified that they agree that there has been shortfall in revenue. So my question is, why then are you doing what you are doing?
Well, then we have to conclude that there must be some other underlying facts.
So then be honest with us, the parents, and tell us what it is. Because we know it's not 4%. If that is the case, we know it's not 4% because you understand that government cannot pay. You understand the reason behind why government cannot pay. You have agreed that there has been a shortfall in revenue. You have sat around the table. You have looked at the books. The same public servants that you represent have prepared these documents for you to see. So tell us, be honest with us. If you are going to utilize our children in your fight, you must be honest and tell us why we're doing it then.
I guess to bring down government.
No, but you see, my child is innocent in this. And that is the person that is suffering the most.
That's what is referred to as collateral damage.
No, my child is nobody's collateral damage. And no child in the state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and I'm speaking for those whose parents believe that their children are collateral damage, guess what? They are not. They are precious minds meant to be molded. So if this is the way in which you think the child's mind should be molded, then we have a big problem ahead of us,
We have a lot of problems because if these people who intend to be leaders one day of this country, those who intend to take the office, a high office of prime minister or whatever else, will sit on the fences and quietly support or from behind the scenes push the narrative that we are hearing and want to think that they will be spared of the wrath. The people of this country are smarter than that. They know the role you're playing. They know what you're doing. I mean, you don't have to agree and accept everything that this government do. You don't have to be a supporter of this government, but at least you can speak up and say, look, right is right, wrong is wrong. Let us find a new way. Let us find a more amicable way of handling this situation. Yes. Be a leader of principle. Don't hide behind all kind of fences and bushes and sipping them and say, go ahead. Go with that placard, write this, do this, do that. And then you come out from the other end of the bushes pretending that you're so clean and you're so concerned about country's development and growth when you are the one, striking the match and lighting the fire and pouring gas from the other end. It wouldn't benefit you. People are going to read through you over time.
And guess what? We are thinking that 3 months down the line, our children are back to normal as we think in schools and everything seems okay. And we are thinking, we have won a fight. Guess what? You think repercussions for actions has a timestamp attached to it? No, karma does not have a timestamp. Karma doesn't have a calendar. It happens and it can happen at any time. In your old age, when you sit down there enjoying your little pension and your retirement, the children that you affected might be the nuisances in your society.
I hope not.
I hope not.
They gonna affect me too. I ain't do them nothing, but I live in the society.
That's what I'm saying. It's just very unfortunate that we are not looking at the bigger picture here. We are not understanding what we are doing. Nobody is saying don't fight. As a matter of fact, strike. Stay home. You understand?
But you can't tell the
Mr.
people
Bola,
that.
Let me tell you something. Strike. Stay home. As a matter of fact, call in sick if you want to call in sick. But do not use my child as a scapegoat. I did not have a problem with the sick out, Mr. Bola. The problem I had was with the fact that you kept my child in school hostage, basically, without informing me that the teachers are not going to be there or sufficient teachers are not there to monitor my child. Keeping my children in school or people's children in school hostage until 12 o'clock to ask parents to come and collect their children, or 10 o'clock, when you very well know that by 8:30 in the morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, you know who is not coming to school to call parents to come and collect their children. For 3 hours, my child in school hostage, and I am supposed to be okay with that. That is what I have the problem with. It is not the sick out. You want to call your industrial action, you want to do what you want to do, fine. But do not hold my child hostage just to achieve your agenda. I am not okay with it. I did not birth my child for that purpose. And my child is worth more than $120 added to your salary at the end of the month. My child is worth more than that.
You know that it's $120 at the end of the month?
For some of them it is.
But look at that. You know a lot more than me.
We have a caller coming in on the WhatsApp, Mr. Bola. Let's take the call. Let me see if I can get it. That's the next thing. Sometimes WhatsApp does just do what it wants to do. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
My name is Duncan. Morning, Mr. Bola.
Hi. Good morning to you.
Yeah, and Ms. Duncan, I saw that you wax very sentimental this morning about the action.
Yes,
action of some of the teachers, or the majority of the teachers. And I myself have difficulties understanding the teachers' action and the lack of consideration for our children and grandchildren. And then on the one hand, they give the impression that this is not about the children. We are not, we have no issue with the children nor the parents. But who does the action affect directly?
Absolutely.
Aren't our children, grandchildren? And parents, to a lesser extent. I mean, come on. So I'm not sure when we are going to put this issue to rest. But you know what gets to me most of all is some people who I think should be responsible enough, because some of them would have held former higher offices, and jumping on the bandwagon of the teacher's struggle, as they put it, and adding fuel to the fire, poking the fire, it really gets to me.
Yes, I see.
I was the former Prime Minister on Monday on one of the news media, I think it was GBN Radio. They had an interview with him, and he was making certain statements. He made certain statements, and okay, so we consider the police should be independent, and I don't think any politician, including the Prime Minister, would give direct instructions as it relates to the application of the law, applying the law, right? As it relates to law and order, to the police. So when you're trying to involve the police now into the politics, and you're saying that the politicians using the police to get at the teachers or to intimidate the teachers, what message are you sending? Yeah. But when you also organize a group of people to go to stand close to the St. David's police station or in front of the police station with the chants and chanting whatever they were chanting, what does that equate to? And that is the kind of thing. Another thing he said is that why was the president of the Grenada Union of Teachers? He been going around and he's seeing social gathering and everything taking place all over the place, and nobody had gotten arrested or charged or anything like that, something like that. So what's to that effect? And I see how misinformed Mr. Thomas is or was, because I know that people were charged, because there was one time a couple months ago when I happened to be in Sutton, and I see a larger gathering on the bus terminus closer to the courthouse area, revenue officers say. I find it was a much larger than usual gathering there. And then some person was telling me a number of people came to court to answer the COVID-19 violation charges and so on. So I knew that, I know that people were brought to court. Some of them were charged. Maybe, I don't know if everybody was charged, but I know that some people were brought to court. But he also mentioned that the government, he said that there is a lot of money in the CBI fund, millions of dollars there, and the government should take money from there to pay the teachers. I said, what a lack of understanding. I mean, a former prime minister, So I asked myself the question, does he know for sure how much money, how many millions there? And would that millions be able to sustain the payment of the teachers or the 4%, not just the teachers and other public officers, for as far as the time that the economy would be returned to the place where the government will be able to generate the revenue to pay, to continue paying? So sometimes we make irresponsible statements just to express support, or to let people know that we are with them, even if not being with them is justifiable. Because I really I found it difficult understanding exactly what he was trying to say. But in brief, in summary, all he was trying to indicate is that they were on the side of the teachers. They were with the teachers and the public officers that government should pay at any cost.
That's what that
is the difficulties that I have with some of our leaders.
But remember, during the time that this goodly gentleman was in office, you didn't have a pandemic, you didn't have a drop in revenue collection of more than 50%, and they weren't able to pay regular salaries.
Exactly,
they
but
never
he
paid an
asked for the deferral of payment of him to public officers.
Yes.
And teachers.
Yes.
So I really, really find it difficult to understand. And these are the same people that speak and talk about honesty and decency and, and they think that they are more sanctimonious than everybody else. They are more scrupulous than everybody else.
And you must obey the rule of law. And as you mentioned about the arrest or whatever, just to know that the gentleman, the president of the teachers union, was not arrested, neither was he detained. He was asked kindly by the police to come in to answer some questions.
And he was not the only.
And he was not the only one. The former president of the teachers union was asked on more than one occasion, and simply the police wanted to know, why is it that you're having your protest, you're doing what, and you're not going to seek permission from the police? Are you aware that we're still under a state of emergency? Are you aware that for any of these kind of gatherings, the police must first give you permission? And sometimes when people like the former Prime Minister speak and talk about the past and the sea, did he ever check to see if those people had permission to have the functions they were having? Did he ever check to see if the police...
But not only that, Mr. Bola, as a leader in society, did he stop and inform these people or ask these people a question or try to give any sort of advice
to them,
to let them know that, okay, well, maybe you shouldn't be gathering because we are in a pandemic or so on, as opposed to going on national TV and using them as an example without offering any sort of assistance or advice and calling himself a leader of people or a leader in society?
Exactly, not having evidence. Before you get on radio, you come on, to the to bring in information to the public knowledge or speaking to the nation, speaking to us. You should have your facts straight, because I know people who were brought in or arrested and charged for the violation. So for him to say, why is the president of this? Nobody was ever arrested or charged. That is not true.
It's not
This is not being truthful. And not only that, but regardless of who, we have an emergency situation in place, and nobody's above the law.
Absolutely.
We're supposed to abide by the law. And
whether there is or is not one.
Yeah. And I expect the former leader of the NDC and Prime Minister to encourage teachers and others to do the same. Nobody's above the law. You see, I don't know why they are trying to promote this kind of unrest. They believe that if they create an unsettled situation, that would lend to the objective, to the aim. But that has not happened in the past. They tried it many times before.
Well, you know why. Don't say you don't know why. You know why. That's exactly what they're hoping will happen.
Yeah, to achieve. But they will not achieve it. We will not allow them to achieve it. Because you see, sometimes we have to engage people and let people know exactly what's happening. You see, like what you are doing, you are doing an excellent job, Mr. Bola, and Mr. Duncan. You are doing a great job in terms of dissecting the issues and explaining to people. Nobody says that you are not going to get the 4%, but the country is just not in a position at this point in time to pay the 4%.
Yeah. And they know and understand that. They know and understand it.
Yeah. And and when people making references like one journalist, I don't call her name now, several of them on and when you're making comparison, because for example she spoke about the transformation of from some of the persons on the money program to no contract. So it means that she asked whether they will be getting the same pay and where would the money come from if there is an increase in pay. Where would the money come from? All these kind of questions, sometimes I wonder, these young people among us, our children and maybe grandchildren and so on. And when the government is making effort to help these young people, we going against that. And then on the other hand, in the same breath, we're talking about not enough is being done to assist our young people.
Yep.
Total contradiction, total contradiction.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your your contribution. As per usual, it's always enlightening to have you contribute to the topic.
Thanks a lot and have a good day. What you have, Mr. Bola?
You have a good one too. Thank you again. But the time is upon us, and we have to.
Let's just take this one, because we started a little late. We're going to give people an opportunity.
We didn't start late. We were facilitating the Prime Minister's interview.
However you want to put it.
Well, that's what we were doing. So we were on, but not speaking.
We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning.
A pleasant good morning to you.
Good morning.
I think that caller, what now called, I disagree with him 100%.
Why? Tell us
talk about the former Prime Minister. Mm-hmm. He has to understand that individual what he's talking about has been promised once the NDC get in power, he will be the Governor General. Thank you.
All right, my brother. We take that. We didn't know that. We hope that you are factual about that and you have evidence to prove that, because if being brought to questioning, I hope you can answer that. But my friends, we are sorry for those whom called we couldn't take it. We know that this topic is a little bit kind of controversial. Some people are for, some people are against, and we want to hear the diverting
But tomorrow
views.
we will open the line.
Yes, very early.
Very early.
We have come to the end. We were facilitating the Prime Minister's interview this morning, so our speaking segment was a bit late. We started a bit late, and so the time has been shortened. But thank you for all of those who participated, those who have sent their comments, those who have listened, those who have called. We do appreciate, and we do hope that with God's blessings and strength, we can be on tomorrow, please God, where we will continue that discussion, where you will have a better and a longer opportunity to call, to comment, to express yourself, to agree or disagree with what is happening. Please do enjoy the remainder of Thursday. It's a rainy Thursday. I don't know if it is good time for planting as yet, but we did get some good showers between last night and today. Thank you, Lord. And thanks again to all people.
Guys, we have come to the end of our program for today. Tomorrow, what we're going to do is open the lines very early. So those of you who have your points, who have not been able to share those points with us, those of you who posted on social media, we will address those points and those concerns, and also, share your concerns with the general public as well tomorrow very early. So write them down. Don't forget them. We have you in mind. Guys, in whatever you say and whatever you do, be safe and be secure. We always want to be talking with you. We do not ever want to be talking about you. So please do enjoy the remainder of your day and stay tuned for the national report. Have a wonderful day, guys.